Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. See if we can get something going here. It's been a while. I've been through an OBS update since I last streamed, and I lost all my settings, so I had to go back and recreate a bunch of stuff. So yeah. So we've got some learning to do here. What do we have here on the workbench? We've got to make some room here. We have a board that I have not looked at in quite some time. Missing a RAM IC. This is going to be one of the first PS5s I tried to reball and failed miserably. And I think I tried multiple times and failed miserably multiple times. But I've done it successfully since then on another board. So it's been laying up here on my workbench with the APU still off of it for, I don't know, a year. So we're going to try to reball this thing and get it reinstalled and see what happens. Because I think every time I did it before, I managed to short out some APU rail, either the 1.35 or one of the 0.9s, or anyway, I shorted something out because of board warpage. And I'm hoping that I can do better this time. I will need a Samsung RAM IC though. So that's what I'm going to try to do. That's the point of today's stream, is to try to get this APU reinstalled. I need to take a look at this board and see, make sure I didn't have it damage the solder mask on it, because that's easy to do. Yep, we have an APU. We have an APU. Let me take a look to see. I'm sure the last time, whenever I removed this APU, I was probably doing it rather hastily, because I was probably rather frustrated. It looks like I've already done some repair work. See a little bit of a repair work on the solder mask right there. Right in there, a little touch up. Trying to make sure, is this in focus? Yeah, I think it's in focus. Yeah, looks like I could touch up that ground there a little. And I had to take it outside and blow the dust off of it. I see if I probably should touch that one up. But it had quite a layer of dust on it, so I took it outside and took like a soft paintbrush and knocked dust loose, and then blew it off with compressed air, because I knew it was going to be dusty. Doesn't look too bad. What I don't remember is what the original problem with this board was, or why I decided to remove the APU from it. I mean, I wouldn't have done that for just no reason, I don't think, unless I did it just to learn. I really can't remember. But I was unsuccessful with putting it back on. I can take them off all day long. I just couldn't put them back on. But I have done it successfully, well, one other time on a digital board. Got a little dirt off there, didn't I? So, I mean, that's a track record, isn't it? So like 10 failures to 1 success. But that's what I'm going to try to do, is reinstall this APU. What could go wrong? EDM10 3.3 1.8 missing. Do you mean the standby 3.3 and 1.8, or one of them that's on at runtime? Console Tech. Is it 5 p.m.? Oh, yeah. These a lot of people have come in. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, I learned a little bit the last time I did it successfully, and I think I made some notes I need to find. I do need to touch up this solder mask just a little bit in a few places. Not much. Because I probably have removed this APU, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 times. But it's been a while. It's probably been a year since I touched this thing. And I didn't realize I had stolen a RAM IC off of it, because I kind of, in the back of my head, I was thinking, someday I'll figure out how to do this with the tools that I have, because obviously I do not have the proper tools to be doing an APU reball, but I do it anyway. I could probably buy a BGA rework station at this point, but I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to justify, because I'm not a business, I'm just a hobbyist, and you kind of have to, sometimes you have to think about what's the benefit. There's definitely a learning benefit if I got one. I'm not sure where I'd put it, though. Those things are not usually terribly small. I don't know if I have a flat surface in this room enough to put it on. Maybe if I ever get my, I'm looking at building an outside workshop. And I'd have more room there. Hopefully, you would hope. Have an entire building dedicated to working in. Step one would probably be lots of flat surfaces to collect junk on. Too much, too much, too much, too much. So yeah, I can't. No guarantee that this is gonna work or do anything. But I'm kind of hoping. I mean, if I can get this APU on there and not have a shorted power rail, I need to clean up those solder pads right there a little. If I can avoid a shorted power rail, that's kind of a win. I don't have any. It's just a bare board I had laying up there, so I don't have any notes as far as the history of it. I just know it was. I think this was probably the first APU I removed. PS5 APU. Got a little sloppy there with that one. All right, now I need to get some UVs on these things. None of this is too bad, really. I just, this dealing with APUs is so time consuming. I'll do whatever I can to avoid having to do it again, if you know what I mean. So I'll repair solder mask all day long, because I'd sure hate to have a couple of solder balls merged together because I was sloppy with it, Hello, here's Grass Puddle. Pitco Tech Affairs. Hello, welcome. Yes, David, I think I did get your Discord message. I'm sorry if I didn't respond. I've been a little bit busy at work, although that has let up quite a bit here recently. And I'm off for several days, which I am enjoying a lot. I don't have a lot of stuff to work on. Push? You stranded in the middle of nowhere? Is a Microsoft good? This is just a simple What's the brand called? I'm going blank. Let me move my light switch. I'm just drying some solder mask. Why is I'm drawing a blank on the brand of this microscope? Probably because it's not stamped on the side of it. Oh, Amscope. It is on my arm back there, though. Amscope. I don't remember a model number. I don't remember. I've had it for several years now. I started out with a, little small digital ones with a display, and that'll get you by. But for me, I mean, some people love that too. But for me, I like looking in the direction that my hands are in. So let me dry some of this solder mask. And I've already cleaned my stencil. I'll be ready to try to reball this thing. Where is my glass bowl for catching the solder balls? Got that ready. I think it's nice and clean. Let's see, my stencil. Here's the stencil. I think it's pretty clean. I think I'm way too close. Yep, I will not be using solder paste, although I think that's what this is for. I've tried with solder paste, and I don't like solder paste on big chips. Some people may have success with it. I have failures with it. It just always to me, solder paste just seems to be softer. What's that? Sound really low? Is it? Well, I'm looking at the VU meter in OBS, and I'm hitting up there right in the yellow. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I hope I'm good. I'm a little bit out of practice. It's probably been, how long has it been since I did a live stream? Okay, where's the magnetic base? Nope, that is, oh, it's laying right here. Not sure how clean this thing is. I see some solder balls down in there. Get out of there. I did not put this in my ultrasonic. It's got a little flux on it, but I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker. Soldering iron on. Now I do need to clean up. There's a couple of pads. Right there I see leftover solder on. I'll switch so maybe you can see it better. Maybe a little bit of flux. Where is my wick? It's right back there. I guess is Andy still on vacation? Is he still on his honeymoon trip? I think we all kind of miss Andy after a while. I mean, you get so used to him streaming like every day. He is quite reliable in that. Oh, no, Sloth, I don't think he's actually getting married, but we like to tease him though. Hey, Chlorslug. We do like to tease him. I don't think he actually is. If he is, I don't think he knows it. All right, this is looking pretty clean. And Sloth, I'm thinking about getting into the Xbox power supply game. Do some reverse engineering. I have not decided yet, though. It's kind of quite the time commitment. It kind of depends on how much interest there is out there. Oh, now? Just now I see a couple of more. A couple of more places I should have repaired the solder mask on. They're not horrible, but what happened to my other? Oh, right here. I just would really hate for this to fail because I just didn't touch up some little spot. Probably wouldn't be a problem. Let me put some where is my overhead? But I didn't realize there were so many different revisions of that of those Xbox supplies. I have one over here, at least one. I may have more than that actually. But it kind of sucks. Looks like there's like 5 or 6 different revisions of it that may not even be related to each other at all. That's kind of all of the PS5 Delta power supplies they're kind of related. I mean, they do the same. The circuitry kind of repeats. You get used to it. They may make slight changes to it, but they don't totally reinvent the wheel each time. So I'm kind of gotten used to those. I know nothing about these Xbox supplies. Hello, Dave's Unbranded. Yeah, somehow Dave got to be a moderator here. I can't remember what the circumstances were, but oh, neon repairs. Oh. Yeah, I've only messed with neon stuff once, David. I remember I was something we were trying to. What was it? I can't remember. There was a certain occasion. I can't remember what it was exactly. I just have not removed you yet. All right, that should be good. We need to take a look at this APU and see how bad it looks. I think it's pretty clean, although it may have some dust on it. Because it too has been sitting on the shelf. Waiting on this light to cut off. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let me set this board to the side. Set it on top of this PS3 back here I'm waiting on parts for. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe I see a few fibers here and there. A little bit of solder there. Oh, there's some solder left over. I would like for it to be nice and flat. Oops, you can't see anything, can you? apologies. I can't remember why. I vaguely remember when when he got to be mod. Again, there it is. I keep losing my solder wick. But if you're just joining us, yeah, we're going to try to reball this PS5 APU and get it reinstalled. And see if I can reinstall it with my inadequate tools and manage not to warp the board, because that's what's happened. But I think I've kind of found the secret to avoid that. Yeah, don't bombard it with a lot of heat from above. Still didn't quite get all that, did I? I don't think that's going to be a major. Come on. I'll get stuck here sometimes, just keep cleaning these things. Because I go, it's not going to cause a problem, that little bit, tiny bit of solder, and then I go, well, what if it does? And you just wasted 2 hours of your life reballing and trying to reinstall this thing when all you had to do. Anyway, it's one of those kind of things. If I had just, like when it doesn't work, you're like, is it because I didn't do this? But I know where I've failed on these things before. Because I have a preheater and a hot air station with a nozzle. And that's what I'll be using. And I'll have a temperature sensor mounted kind of as close as I can get to the APU. I'm watching the temperatures. But it's heating it from above. In the past, I had my temperatures way too high. And I don't think I had the nozzle, which I've got a 45 by 45 millimeter nozzle. I don't think I had it close enough to the APU, so the heat was spilling off onto the surrounding board. And that board would just warp. Wish I could find, I had a video one time. I had a camera off to the side, and as I did it, when I was doing it, I couldn't see it, but going back and watching the video and speeding up, you could see the board just warp, in real time. It was funny. It wasn't funny at the time, but anyway, it was funny. I went back and watch it, and you go, oh, so that's what's happening. So anyway, we're going to hit it. We have to heat it. I mean, you can't remove them or take them off without heat. We're going to be trying to be a little kinder and gentler to it. And I ordered some, I believe I used 0.5 millimeter balls for this. And it took me 3 tries to get those balls. I ordered them on AliExpress 3 separate times. And the first 2 times, the shipment made it to the airport and disappeared. Just stopped. Because I got refunded for it. It never made it out of the country. And finally, I think it was the 3rd time I ordered. Now, I picked a different vendor each time, I believe. 3rd time I ordered, it finally made it out of the country, and I got them. I keep trying to clean off fibers, and then I cause more fibers. And cat hairs. Get out of there. I need to clean my tweezers. at some point I'm going to be trying to nudge a solder ball around with these tweezers. And if they have flux on them, it's not going to be a good time. All right. Did I get rid of all the little fibers? Okay. Hello, Ripperagi. I hope I say that right. Tom Morgan, hello. Oh, let me switch back. Need to get me a Stream Deck. Need to get a Stream Deck for switching. I'm just cheap. Alrighty. Solder balls we have, check. I've cleaned this stencil. I don't believe there's a wrong way to put this in here because I am going to put some flux down on it. Let me take a look at this. Pretty much the same layout all the way around. You can't really mess this up. Okay. A small amount of flux. Maybe a little bit more than that. Okay. See if I got all the fibers out of this stencil. Okay. That looks acceptable. That looks blurry. Okay. We're lining up. Everything is beautiful. No problems. Let's see. Here's my bowl. I think I see it. There's a solder ball left over in the bottom of this bowl. It's probably the right size. This is the only thing I've used this bowl for, I think. Yeah, this bowl, I picked this up. My wife and I went on vacation. Took a short road trip. And the only thing I bought for myself in the entire 3-4 day trip, went to a Goodwill store and I saw this glass bowl and said, you know, that'd be perfect for setting my reball stencil in. And that's the only thing I bought the entire trip. Andy? There he is. I guess he's not back though. Yes, Andy, this is going to be an attempt, a reattempt at reballing a PS5 APU. Well, let me just say, the reballing is easy, relatively easy. Getting it back on the board, not so much, without warping it. Have I not opened this before? I thought I used 0.5, but this does not seem to have been opened. Oh, I did. That's right. I think I had a tiny vial, yeah, of 0.5. That's what I used before. I was wondering, like, how did I manage to do this without opening this container? But I had this. Well, maybe I'll use it again. I haven't tried this new vial, but I don't know how old this stuff is. Doesn't have a date on it. I bought this as like an assortment of solder balls a long time ago. But it was successful before. Let's try it again. I don't know if I'll ever get them back in that container, but the extras. And hope I don't have a flux all over my fingertips. Because then they're going to stick to me. I'm seeing empty holes. Well, I've got some solder balls. I have not. I need to ask ChatGPT how many balls are on a PS5 APU. I think I can give it a picture of it and force it to count them for me. I am from the U.S. I still see a lot of empty holes. No point in conserving these solder balls. I've got extras now. Yeah, I think this, I'm pretty sure this holder is for, paste, direct heating with solder paste. I don't like using solder paste on big chips like this. Like I said before, to me, solder paste just seems, it's like it's too soft. Like the balls tend to squish, flatten out. My imagination, possibly. And I don't think, I'm not going to try to heat this. I'm not going to try to melt these balls I'm going to lift the stencil off. And I'm sure some solder balls will come up. And I'll have to replace them by hand. But trying to heat in the stencil, it wants to lift up and warp. And then you end up with, ball. Once that stencil starts lifting up on an edge, the solder balls start merging together into super balls, and it's a whole thing. Those of you who have tried this, you know what I'm talking about. I still see a few empty holes, which I don't mind placing some by hand. I'd just rather not place 100 of them by hand. And I need to get rid of all the extras that are just laying around, because when I go to lift this stencil up, they will fall down into a less than convenient spot and merge. What are we looking at now? Can you see what I'm doing? My apologies if I don't switch between camera angles sometimes. First time streamer. Get in the stinking hole. Can't say I've ever tried to do this on a live stream. Probably a bad idea. Because I really don't want to feel rushed. If you know what I mean. This is getting frustrating. Eventually, you do it long enough, you end up with flux on your fingertip, and you start pulling them out more than you're putting them in there. All right. Come on. Roll around. I'm going to start brushing off the extras here. And there's quite a bit of extra. I see quite a few missing holes. Come on. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. How about a brush? Didn't I have a brush at one point? A small. There's a brush, but it's got so much. It's a used one. It's got junk all over it. Just going to end up adding more contaminants. I know where it is. It's in this other Reball stencil that I don't use. This is for PS4 stuff. I don't see it in here. So maybe I stole it already. There's some more solder balls. And some cheap stencils. I could use a small toothbrush, I guess. Let me get a new toothbrush, something that won't have fuzz all over it. Or one of these, one of those. I've got a bunch of these. Let's see what that does. If it ends up pulling out more than it, yeah, they're sticking to it. It's almost too stiff. It's pulling them out more than. That is hurting more than it's helping. I really don't want to place that many of them by hand. I really, really don't. Now, this is not going to be fun. Just by the way it's going so far, I'm going to be placing a bunch of them. Because a certain amount of them are going to stick to the stencil, although I cleaned it. So hopefully there wouldn't be any flux on the back of the stencil for the balls to stick to. But there's always some that do. Should probably get a better stencil. This is not a bad stencil, I guess, but one that's meant for balls so that you've got like the little convenient corner, you know, pouring spout to pour them back in the bottle. You know, one that's made for solder balls. So I'm pretty sure this one's meant for flux. Not flux, paste. Forgot my words. I think it's meant for thermal paste, which I do have, but I don't like it. Yes, I've resorted to just pushing them into the holes. At least I get them off the top of the stencil. I don't want to pick it up with extra ones sitting on top. Can everybody see, or I should probably switch views. So I haven't been looking at chat. I'm sorry. Has Andy made it back? Is he back home? And if he is, why is he not live streaming? As per his contract. I'm sure there are lots of dead speaker amps out there waiting for him. Come on. I have a Switch 2 to fix. Finally bought a broken one. I have not opened it up yet. I'm planning on trying to do a video on it. It's new to me. I think I paid like $275 for that thing. But I've been wanting to see one firsthand. It is a dead no power one, and I have no parts for it. I don't have a donor board. I have one ordered, but it's come from AliExpress, and I don't know when it's going to be here. So, which I have a feeling the problem with it's going to be that charge, well, the USB-C control IC. It's going to be the new M92 T36. Because I did hook a charger to it, and with an ammeter, and it drew no current. It didn't do anything. Didn't negotiate anything. Didn't draw any current. It's dead. But I have not opened it up yet. Ooh. Dead max ICs. Oh. The max ICs you can get, it's that Cypress chip I was worried about. I'm going to have to try to get some of those programmed. Since apparently they are replaceable with another chip if you have the software and the hardware to program it. And I've got that stuff ordered. So it's not in yet though. I just assumed that that would be that, you know, the chip that controls the USB handshaking communication, because it doesn't do any of that. I do have the board view, so that's good. Although I'm not sure how many versions of circuit boards there are, you know, for the Switch 2. Yes, Switch 2 board view. Managed to find that. I did see that, Dave. I like a guy in Brazil. Look at my bit rate is backing off. A guy in Brazil designed that. That looks cool. Forgot what I was doing. Oh, I was going to switch to the microscope full so you can see a little better. I did see that. Yeah, so you can put the Panasonic or Nuvoton chip on there. Yep. I don't get why Sony did that. You've been using that Sony chip, which is readily available for so long, and then just out of the blue throw a curveball. Let's use this chip, you know, that no one else is using. Well, actually, I guess the Nintendo Switch 2 uses one also. I think it's a different version. 2175N and the I think it's a P, 2175P, is it, for the PS5? At like $200 each if you could find one. And I don't have any of those chips because I have not run into one of those dead yet though. But I was thinking I'd sure hate to order a single chip from an AliExpress vendor that's $200 and something. You just, you know, as often as people like to try to fake chips, I just see you having a hard time getting your money back on that. Be a pretty risky thing. But I haven't had to. Like I said, I have not run into one of those dead yet because I don't see as many consoles as a lot of repair shops do. No, I know it's used on the is it EDM044, and I guess the 50 that's used in the Pro, which I have not seen a Pro. I'm too cheap for that. I am way too cheap. Since a broken Pro, they want like $700 for or something. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just wait until the prices come on down. I'm not in that big of a hurry. Because like I said, I am not a business. I am a hobbyist. And we're having fun. This is fun. Get off the damn... We're having fun. Yep, that's when it's time to clean it. Put a little alcohol on there and clean it off to get the flux off of it. So yeah, I'm sorry if this is boring, but it's kind of... That's part of it. It's part of not having all the right tools. So, man, there's a lot of them missing. I would like to get to the point where I can pull this stencil off, and then I'll start replacing. Oh, there's a hair. Get rid of that. Then I'll start replacing the ones that are missing. And I've got a little hot plate that I use to melt these things now. I'm not going to use hot air and have them blow everywhere. It was a Christmas present I got. I guess it was this year. And I had not used it for a long time. I just had it sitting in the box. It's a tiny little thing, a little mechanic one. I think I used it in my last video. But that little thing is magic. It doesn't take long at all to seat all these solder balls. I've used it. I have used it on APU. No problem. I've used it on RAM ICs. What else did I use it on? But I like it. I have a larger one too. I don't remember why I got that one. I have one that's, I guess it would be suitable for heating up, say, an iPad or something, if you were trying to remove the screen, which I've never worked on one. I imagine what I'm trying to say. I was able to avoid the whole iPad stuff because of all the Apple locking down devices. Even if you fix it, if it's locked, I think some people can unlock them, but I wasn't going to get into all that. So, alrighty, have I cleaned up? No. Have I 3D printed anything? Trying to remember. Nothing interesting. I want to get more into the design part of, I've used FreeCAD. I don't know if I showed you. I 3D printed a stand for one of my multimeters, one of my Agilent multimeters, because I had one that I had bought, one of my little handheld multimeters. And the stands were just, you can't really find them on eBay. So I designed my own. Took a few tries. It works. Not very pretty, but I keep wanting to go back, add a little more gentle curves to it. Instead of the, rounded off rectangles that I made. Man, that's still quite a few missing. Okay. What are we talking about? Where's my overhead? Let's see, it's this meter here. Don't want to knock that bottle of solder balls over. But yeah, I did, it's the same stand as these other meters I have, so I had something to work off of. But yeah, there were several iterations to get it. It's on Thingiverse if anybody's looking for one of those. I think it'll fit a 1252 and a 1253 like these OLED meters I have over here. It'll fit either one of them. But not an exact copy of the other ones. I kind of like these have a two-part section to them. I went kind of simple. I just wanted a stand, but it's on Thingiverse. If you need a stand for a 1252 or a 1253. All right. I'm just gonna try to put a few more. I just see so many empty holes over here. I really don't want to do a hand. I mean, I kind of am doing it by hand. By my little probe here. It's not by my fingertip. If what I do is one less that I have to pick up a pair of tweezers and put in that hole. But this is really the time-consuming part, is just doing this, because once I put them on that little hot plate, it won't take probably a couple of minutes to get the balls melted in place. I see a piece of fuzz there I'd like to get out of there. I'm sorry, I did it again. Where did that piece of... I've lost it. I lost it. I saw a piece of little fiber of something. I'm sure it won't cause a problem. Usually I can tell. Once we put this thing on there, we'll know. I'm pretty sure the last time I reballed this, I never even applied power to it because I had a gigantic short on one of the rails. There's no point in that. you want to stress test your MOSFETs or something. This APU is almost a short normally. There's like 0.2 of an ohm on one of those rails, I think it was 0.3. Anybody remember, speaking of tenths, anybody remember that old joke about the guy who went to the doctor? He was just repeating, I'm a wigwam, I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam, I'm a teepee. And the doctor tells him, relax, you're 0.2. You get it? 0.2. Yes, I'll be here all week. Still manually placing these solder balls. But yeah, I gotta go back to work Thursday, so I'm trying to get some repairs in, some live streams in, some videos before I go back to working in the salt mine. I have spent a little time in the pool. Not enough. Not enough to justify the cost of that damn thing. But a little bit. Alright, let me see if I can do this. I swear in the past I've been able to get more of them, you know, rolled into place with just using the finger. But try to do it live and this is what happens. Or maybe it just seems that way. I think when I'm doing it, well, not live, I'm not as cognizant of time. I'm just kind of doing my own thing, and you know, it takes as long as it takes. Get in the holes. Now, what if I can get this board working? Well, I need a RAM IC for it. And it is a disk version. And I have no idea where the disk drive is for it. Although there's a stack of them in my closet. I'm sure it's one of them. I'll just have to try each one of them. But I think I'm getting way ahead of myself. Here I am already trying to match the Blu-ray drive to it. But yeah, I've got a PS3 behind me. It's my PS3 that I need to, I think it's going to need the capacitors changed in it. And I've got the boards, the Tantalizer boards ordered. I've got some capacitors coming. It's I don't know if I mentioned it, the PS3 on its edge behind me here is one that I bought probably a couple of years ago. It was working. It said it was working anyway. Working PS5, had several controls with it. several games. I think I paid like 150 bucks for it or something because it looked, physically, it was just in beautiful condition. And I got it and I tested it and it seemed to be working fine. I put it in a box. I was just kind of more of a collection thing for me. And then my son asked about it. He was wanting to play Fallout New Vegas, which he still had the game. So he got it and he was trying to play on it, and it got to shutting down on him. In the beginning, it would shut down like maybe a couple hours of playing, and then an hour, and then it was like 30 minutes, and then it was like as soon as you turn it on, right back off again. So yeah. So I bought anyway. While I'm waiting on that one, I did open it up and replace the thermal paste, which was dry on it, but that was not the issue. It was not that was not the issue. It was not overheating. So anyway, I got it back, and with the intention of trying to fix it when I had time. In the meantime, I bought another PS3. That is, it's on my shelf over here. I got it because I felt bad my son couldn't play his game, although he's 30 years old and needs to be working anyway. But I got it. It was not working. It was working, except the Blu-ray drive was not working on it. It's a slightly newer version, more of a slim, not the super slim type ones. But it's, anyway, the only thing that wasn't working on it was the Blu-ray drive. It wouldn't take a disc, so that's why I bought it. It was working, had boot up, and so I didn't do a video on that one. That was only like the second PS3 I'd ever opened, but it turned out it would not take a disc. You could not physically get it in there. I mean, it just wouldn't. There was something physically in the way, So I opened that thing up and figured out that it had been like crushed from the top. Someone had like put something heavy on it. I don't know, stepped on it, but the whole top of the Blu-ray was pushed in. And some of the mechanism, the gears in there was out of time, out of position. So I had to kind of figure out that as I went, study how it moved. But it took a couple of attempts to try this, bend this, straighten this. Is it straight enough now? Eventually I got it, and it's working. And I went to a local store that has like old video games around here, and I bought Dead Space for it, which is a rather intense game, by the way. The creatures that jump out at you, just to test it, because I didn't have any PS3 games to test. I didn't have a single one. I sent all that to my son's house, but it works. I redid the solder paste on that one while I had it open, and let my son know I got another PS3. He's already moved on to something. I think he was playing RuneScape, which is something else he played when he was a kid. So he wasn't really interested in it right now. So oh well. So he'll circle back to it, I'm sure. So now I have a working PS3 and a broken PS3. And I don't know that I need any more PS3s, although I noticed they're super cheap. And schematics are available to them, at least some of the models. So that's always fun. We still? Give a good smearing of paste now. No. What do we? You do work. I know you work. Apparently you don't work. You're watching me. My son is texting me. Apparently yeah. I know you work. Sometimes. I've seen you work. I've seen you home on Fridays though quite a bit. Yes. But I do remember him playing RuneScape quite a bit. It was the thing back in the day. You never know who's listening to your live streams. My daughter likes to listen. And apparently my son is watching and totally not working. I said I was going to do some of these after I lifted the stencil. Apparently I lied because I started thinking about doing that and like how much of a nightmare it was going to be, because I would bump one or bump two. Come back, come back. Come on, get there. Get there. There we go. And the more I thought about it, the more I decided just to keep going at it. The end is near. I can see it. I think I've just got this upper right corner. I think that's all I'm lacking. Oops, where'd it go? Come back. I'd love just to try to roll those over there, but I bet you I'm going to pull more solder balls out. Yeah. I was going to try to roll that whole collection of them over there, and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to knock out so many of them. Maybe this is better. Just do them. Get in there. We're almost there. Get in there. Come back. Yeah, this is quicker, I think, than what I was doing. Nope, 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 don't do that. Now, how many are going to stick to the stencil? Where'd it go? I dropped that one. Where'd it go? How many are going to stick to the stencil when I go to lift it? Only one. That's my estimate. Only one. All right, now we got to get rid of these. Any other empty ones? Oh, there's an extra one. Get rid of these extras. Any other empty ones there? What else? Oh, oh, oh. I think we're good. Okay. Now can I get rid of these extras? Before I try to lift this. Get out of that corner. Okay. This one I think I'm done. I see some more. Yeah, well, I could deal with an extra one as long as I see it. Do it like this. Oh my. The number of solder balls that have stuck to this stencil is just an obscene amount. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to put it back down though, or should I? I still have to knock them loose somehow. Oh, this is painful. So what do? I try to put it back down there and tap on it some? Or I just start manually? And I just saw solder balls go flying everywhere. Just don't do that again. At this point, it is what it is. Have to start over. Yeah. I'm not going to start over. I'm going to start placing some damn solder balls is what I'm going to do. I say I am. Well, My tweezers nice and clean. I could, if I, I could go ahead and melt these in place. Just don't think I want to do that. It is what it is at this point. Just gotta fix it. Is that? Let me switch back to the. Hello, Yeti. Hello. Why are you not in focus? I mean, we're having fun, aren't we? Chasing 1/2 millimeter wide solder balls. I think I'd still rather do this than paste, though. Don't mind paste for the smaller stuff. See a few knocked out of place. Don't stick to the tweezers. Oh, come on. Time to clean the tweezers again. And what happened up here? Slide you over. Oh, I need some more solder balls, which are lying everywhere at this moment. They're all over my bench, on the mat here. Hope this is the right size. Yep, that looks to be the right size. There's a small possibility there could be a different size laying on my mat. Although I think I wiped it off sometime this month. All right. I need more solder balls. Grabbing them out of my little glass bowl here. Oh. Come on. Grab a solder ball. I got two. You go there, right there. Yep. My stencil was clean. I think what went wrong was me trying to roll the other solder balls into place after I poured them on there, because invariably you're going to knock some out, and those are going to have a little bit of flux on them. And then you're just kind of smearing flux all over the place. That's just my theory at the moment as to what went wrong, because I did clean that stencil. I just took it out of a ultrasonic cleaner, which I just had to repair. Just a little cheap, small Harbor Freight ultrasonic. Just wanted something for cleaning stencils with, and I haven't had it a whole year, I don't think, and the heater had already failed in it. And there are several videos on YouTube of people having the same problem with this particular model of ultrasonic. And the problem is it's coming up the replacement heating element. So I found something, it's 120 volts is what it's running off of, the actual the element. And what I ordered, I can't remember what the dissipation of it was, but it was not, well, I guess we don't know what the original one was, but I think it was close to, it's one of those enclosed pieces in like an aluminum, it's got like the temperature control built into it. Like it's not, the circuit board doesn't control the temperature, it's all built into the little heater element. But I did find one, actually I got two. Anyway, so I've got an element, I put it in there. You have to bond it with this thermal glue to attach it to the bottom of the tank. And I did all that, and when I tried it, it kind of worked. The owner's manual of the ultrasonic said it was supposed to get to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't think mine, it could barely get above room temperature. It just wasn't enough. But a lot of the elements that I could find, they were just too physically big to get in the area that I had to mount the thing in. But, so anyway, I tried that one. It worked, kind of. It got slightly warm, the water did. So, but they did send me two of them. It was I guess I got it off Amazon, I can't remember. But there was two of them in the package. But there really wasn't room to put two of them side by side on the area that I had. So I went back here just the other day and I put the second one in there and I stacked them on top of each other. It's in like an aluminum closure, little housing it's in. So I just bonded one to the other. And it's working better. I've seen it get into the 90s Fahrenheit after being on like 7 hours. So, yeah. And so that's just, I'm just going to leave it like it is for now. It's only like $100 ultrasonic cleaner. And the ultrasonic part of it works just fine. It's just the heater. So, I don't know, maybe I'll have another look again sometime and see if I can find a more suitable heating element. But for now, I've opened that thing up so many times. It is working. I mean, it's kind of working. It's kind of heating up the water. It's got to help some cleaning. But yeah, I found other heating elements, like I was saying, but that would have been more suitable. Put out more heat. They just wouldn't physically fit. I guess I could make them fit, but the area that you have to mount the heating element in is like, it's like under a little plastic cover with some insulation material, and it's just like a little small window that you have to actually get to the tank. Now I could probably hack away on that and cut a bigger area. It's just not your first choice is to start hacking away at the housing, though. More the last choice. So these elements I got, they weren't very expensive. I don't remember how much. I may have paid $20 for the things. For the set of two. And the glue, I had to buy this thermal conductive adhesive. Little tube of it. Got that off Amazon. I had high hopes it was just gonna, because I don't remember how long it took the thing before to heat up the water, but I'm pretty sure it was not 7 or 8 hours. That's as long as I've let it run. The heating part of it. But I just kind of doubt it's ever going to get the 140 Fahrenheit like it claimed it would. What are we chatting about? Hey, Russ. Russ. Well, thank you, Russ. Russ is slinging out memberships. Thank you very much, Russ. Chloroslug, Andy, 8-Bit Repair, Sloth Tech. Thank you, Rusty Russ. That's very, very nice of you. You don't have to do that. Oh, come on. I do have a power supply to fix also if we get through this thing. I do have a PS5 supply. I don't know what's wrong with it. It was just dead. I think I got a PlayStation in the other day. And I have lots of repaired power supplies. So I just put a label on it, bad. Swap out the supply, moved on. And I ran across it just the other day. It's sitting in the box over here. I should probably take a look at it. It's on my to-do list. That and on my to-do list is learn how to do Stream Elements. Yes, I wanna learn how to do that as well. Although I know it can be buggy. It's one of those things like learning FreeCAD. I want to learn how to use FreeCAD more. To come up with my own, designs. I have an idea for a design. Involving for a chip programmer. I need something to hold some pogo pins for me. Pogo pins are easy to come by. I did notice there's like a big selection of them as far as the length of them, the amount of travel. And I don't know what size pogo pins I'm going to need. I know I need some. Guess I could get an assortment of them. But that should be an interesting test, see if I can make a holder for a chip so I can program it and not have to solder wires to it. Yeah, speaking of that, the guy down at Brazil who made the adapter, so you can put the Panasonic or Nuvoton chip on some of those PS5s. I think he's going to release the design at some point. I saw a video today of him mentioning that after he gets it tested out. When it came out, when I saw those chips, I was thinking, well, they're expensive, you can't get them, but eventually they'll come out and you'll be able to get them and it won't be an issue. And that just hasn't happened. Those stupid things are still like $200 if you can find one, which is kind of surprising. Usually they all, eventually they show up in the AliExpress market. Like the DAP53 did, the DAP56. But those 2175Ps, and you'll see, of course, I see a lot of AliExpress listings for the, it'll say 2175, and it's only like $10. And if you look, it's not the P revision. And you're going to be very disappointed. I'm sure a lot of people have bought them thinking it would work, and my understanding it does not work. You got to have the N is for the Nintendo, I believe, and the P for the PS5, if I've got that right. But I am kind of thinking about doing some reverse engineering too on the Xbox power supplies. I have one opened over here. I've never really worked on them. But it does kind of intrigue me a little. I enjoy the challenge of trying to reverse engineer stuff like that. So that's kind of on the to-do for me. Learn how those things work. And I saw watching Sloth Tech's video, it looks like some of the chips are available. Some of the controller chips. That's good. And they're not stupid priced. I don't have any of them. Have not invested in any of those yet. I'm assuming you can't get them from Mouser. You go over there. I'll deal with you later over there. Okay. Where'd you go? I go to pick up a solder ball, and by the time I get over here, it's gone. All right. What's left? Okay. Oh, yeah. Does anybody see any extras? I see one. Right there. Any other extras? Any others? Let me slide that a little bit that way. If you see an extra, let me know. Just say ball number 537 or something has an extra one. I'll know what you mean. Are we good? I'm not seeing any other extras. I don't see any empty pads. So now the next question is, can I pick this thing up and transfer it to that heater without knocking off a bunch of stuff? Oh, I see something there. Yeah, it needs to you don't want that. Okay. Some of these have shifted a little. And I think they're on the edge of the pad. All right, which ones? Hello, everyone. Circuit Fix. Hello. Yeah, Soldering Dutchman. Hello, Soldering Dutchman. Yes, we are doing a PS5 AP Reball the painful way, because it builds character and it's fun. Okay, I'm going to try to transfer this over now. Put that somewhere. Now, can I get you out of there? Actually, you can push it from the other side, can't you? I just don't want it to spring out of there. I guess the thing to do is just grab it by the edges here. Oh, I see 2 solder balls came off of my fingertip. But if that's all we lost, we're in good shape. That's where I grabbed it from the edge. If that's all we lost, oh, come back. Really? Oop, oop, oop. Let's try not to bump it. And you, sir. Your participation is required. There we go. All right. So anything else out of place? Let me go. Anything else out of place? I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing on. Not gonna start heating yet. Turn this fan off. Anything else I missed? Okay. Let's fire it off. I'd get out wider if I could, but that's the view I have right now. Oh no, not stencil. Some it's too close. That could be. We'll find out. We're warming up. Don't worry, I'm a professional. I've done this once before. Just once. I'm still scanning. Come on. I wish that one was a little bit closer to the center. Now those two right there are going to be a problem. The center's already melting. See a piece of lint sticking up there. Oops. There we go. Got it. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's almost flux time. Yeah, I think it is flux time. Turn it off. All right, we're off. I think everything found its center. Okay. Let's see if I can slide it off on one of these pads. There we go. So what do we have? Not bad, not bad. How did that one end up with no flux on it? That one right there. A little late now. I guess I could heat it with hot air. Doesn't look bad though. Well, what do we think? Will that work? Thank you, Circuit Fix. Never too much flux. Yeah. I try not to breathe it. I really try not to. I think it'll work. I'm cool off just a little bit here, and then I'll clean this flux off before it has a chance to totally solidify. Kind of a fine line between thermal shock on the APU and do you wait for it to solidify the flux and then you have to heat it right back up again. Let me switch to a better view. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got a fan blowing, kind of cooling it off over here. It's not too hot at all now. I was trying to clean it before it got too cool. May need a little more cleaning. Yeah, maybe a little bit more cleaning. We picked up some fibers. It's always good. Yeah, I need to warm it up a little. clean it some more. I like for it to be nice and clean. Just want to soften this flux up. Just so I can later add flux back to it again. Actually, I'll put flux on the board. All right. Looking cleaner. Get rid of some of these fibers. What do we think? I think that'll fly. If I can get it on the board. There's an extra solder ball. Those are always nice. I think that'll work if we can install it now. There's Dr. Cryogenic. Hello, welcome. Ah, so you use solder paste, Stephens. Place it on. Remove the whole thing from the magnet and place it on the. You remove it from the magnet. I got you. Haven't tried that. So you're saying you leave the stencil on here and set like the APU with stencil with paste on it there. That's one of the things about the work that we do. We all find ways of doing things. You figure out at some point what works for you, because what works for you may not work for somebody else. But you try enough times and you will figure out something that works for you. And people will sometimes tell you, oh, you can't do it that way. It won't work that way. Well, actually it kind of does. You'll figure out what works for you. What do I do with that stencil? The stencil's laying over here in the bowl. I need to clean that. I'll put that in the ultrasonic a little later on. Right now, I've got to make room for my preheater. It takes up the whole bench. Let me set you out of the way, somewhere out of harm's way. Maybe a quick cleanup. I really hate having solder balls laying on my bench because I can just see them. I lay a board down. They're going to find their way between two traces connecting 12 volts to 5 volts or something. And there you have it. Okay. Oops. And I'm knocking things over. What did I knock over? One of my mini tubs of parts. Okay. A little dusty there. A lot dusty. I have not cleaned this thing off. Ever. Just picked up quite a bit of dust. Never noticed how loose that was. That's the temperature probe, the built-in one. Where did I put that board? Here it is. I'll move that a little. Remove the camera. That's not too bad. All right. Now, I think I've got this pretty clean already right here. But we need a good layer of flux. Oh, Dr. Cryogenic, you're not doing any repairs right now? You sold everything? You getting out of the game altogether? Oh, check out the GitHub repos using NAND, dumping the NAND contents. No, I have not seen that. I knew that it had been dumped, but I didn't know how they did it. I hate to see you're not doing any repairs, Dr. Cryogenic. I don't know what I would do without, you know, this hobby. I do enjoy it. Yeah, this is very special flux, very expensive. Kingbo, available in large tubs. It's nothing special. I'm just putting a nice layer there, about that amount, a calibrated amount. Alrighty. We are not heating yet. I'm just turning on the annoying fan. Roy is here? Yeah, it's APU time, Roy. Oh, Andy likes the Kingbo too? Yeah, it's just, I'm cheap. I bought it, and it just works for me. It's one of those things. All right, now where's the corner on? Where's the corner marker? Right there, isn't it? Yep. Not that corner. Not that corner. So it's definitely that corner. And it definitely goes like that, I think. And I am definitely going to look at another board before I start heating it up here. I think this is the proper orientation. I think. Maybe a little over to the left. Yep. I can see a little bit of that corner marker, a little bit of that corner marker, a little bit of that one, a little bit of that one. Okay. What could go wrong? Is it Roy's birthday? Happy birthday, Roy. Okay. Let me get my thermal sensor here. And I have never come up with a good way of attaching this thing. I mean, it's a bead type sensor. So I usually just, I wedge it into one of these holes as close as I can get to whatever I'm doing. Very scientific, I know. But it gives me something. All right. You need to stop moving around, board. Stop playing games. Okay. Nice glare. Let me get that out of the way. Are we good on our alignment still? Yeah, we haven't moved. Probably should have cleaned the top of this APU a little before I did this, but I didn't. That is how the APU goes, isn't it? I can't see it on that one. Let me get one without the cover on it. Yeah, I can see that's how it goes. The two little holes go right there. That's your marker. All right, so we are aligned. Hang on, I gotta clean the top of this APU a little before I bake whatever that is on there. He was just staring at me. And all I could think about was whatever that was is about to get baked on there and will never come off. Okay. I'm going to set my temperature to 125. Turn it on. I like to warm it up slowly. Bring the board up temperature very slowly. And I need to find my notes of when I did this last time. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? I've learned to try to keep notes. I used to think, I'll remember. Don't worry, I'll remember. And now I know I won't remember. Too many other things, going on in life. I won't remember. Now I gotta remember what I called it. APU reball notes. I'm trying to find the temperatures I used. And I think I even backed down on my airflow. Here's some notes from June 14th. Okay, let me go get something to drink. I'll be right back. We are warming up this board. I'm gonna try to get rid of that glare off the top of that right there. We're warming up slowly. Is it on yet? Hello. Actually, I found my notes. I have found my notes. Okay. Anybody interested in seeing my notes? Okay, I did make some decent notes this time. Okay. Oh, you want to see my notes? Uh, does it normally take this long? Probably not. It takes longer when people are watching you. All right, let me see if I can get a screen capture going here. Plus, 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 plus. I need to add a source. Window capture, X composite, add. Select a window. Where? Notes. Okay. Well, there's my notes. Oh, window capture. Okay, there it is. Yep. There's my notes. It takes a while. It takes a while to remove an APU, to reball the APU, to prep the board. Then you got to heat the board back up, align everything perfectly, heat it up slowly. It's a thing. It's a process. So yeah. I'm gonna increase the temperature a little bit more on my preheater. I just like to bring it up kind of slow. I don't know if there are any for APU. It's for the PS5 APU. I don't know if it's for any of them. This is what's worked for me. The one time I was able to do this successfully. Okay. What you should have is a proper BGA rework station. That's what I'm saying. Which I don't have. So yeah. Well, I mean, as far as this is basically what you would do with any like PS4 or PS5 APU. The times may vary, the temperature. You know, when you don't have the proper tools, which I don't, you have to figure out what works for you. You can screenshot it, I guess, or you could just play the live stream back. We're warming up. This preheater is a PUHUI T-8280. You can probably see the label of it right there. And I picked this thing up reasonably cheap off of eBay several years ago. I think I may have paid like $100 for it or something. I got lucky. There was somebody in the States, somebody in the U.S. selling it, and it was a 120 volt version. They make a 240 also, but of course I don't have 240 in this room, so I needed the 120 in it, and it was in the box, and it opened up a world of repairs for me. I use this when I'm doing a south bridge. I'll preheat it. I use it when I'm doing the SSD controller. It just, you kind of open up a world of, of being able to do other repairs that I had done south bridge replacements on PS4s without one. You can do it. I usually I think I heated those from the bottom. It's just installing ICs that large with just hot air. It takes so much of it. You have to be careful. You will kill the chip. You can kill it. With using a preheater, you can just kind of get away with, less hot air from above and for shorter periods of time. It's just it is a kinder, gentler way of doing it. Yep. This is not how most people would do it. This is how I do it. Now Russ has got he's got a nice reball station. Rusty Russ. He's got a nice reball station. He'll be doing some PS5 APU reballs soon, I know. Any day now. I'm going to warm this up a little bit more. I'm going to shoot for, what my notes said, I'm going to shoot for something like what did I have before? Board temperature. Yeah, 230, board temperature is like 130 to 140 when I did it last time. No, is that right? I'm sorry, I'm reading in Celsius. I need to read back to Celsius. This is not looking right. That's one of my Celsius. That's better. I had it in Fahrenheit. I was checking the temperature of that ultrasonic. And the spec they gave in the manual was 140 Fahrenheit, so I was using Fahrenheit. But I've gotten used to using Celsius. I'm at 168 Celsius right now on this preheater, as far as its set temperature. I'm kind of easing it up. I'm gonna get this up to like 120, 130. Just kind of doing it slowly. I'll step it up a little bit at a time. You'll hear the preheater, kind of the pitch of the fan change. This thing does draw some current. I need to find my nozzle. This is a 45 by 45 millimeter. I guess I've had this from back in the PS4 days. I used it for PS4 APU rework. It was not made for my hot air station. I had to. This was a clamp type. It actually went around the nozzle, and you had a screwdriver clamp. You would tighten it on there, and I had to cut all that off, and then I just kind of filed it and found that this would go directly up in the nozzle. Let me turn this off. Just lucky, because I didn't know it when I ordered it. It would fit right up inside the groove of this nozzle, like that. And I don't know if it was meant to be that way, or just extremely lucky. I'm trying to see if I can get my, yeah, something like that. We got a little more preheating to do before we're ready for that. Let me go ahead and set my temperature. And I think when I did it last time, I had the board, yeah, the board was about 130 C. I applied 300 C hot air from above, the airflow of 70 out of 120, and I was about 1 inch away from the top of the APU. And I usually try to set a stopwatch. And I do that so that in my notes I can add the time. And I think I forgot. My hot air station is just it's a quick 861 DW that I bought from Louis Rossman's store in New York years and years ago. But it's nothing special. As far as I know, it's a legitimate. It is a quick though. I don't think Rossman would have been carrying fakes. I'm just setting my air temperature to 300. Airflow, I'm gonna bring down to 70. And I think what I ended up doing, and I'm reading through my notes again. I forgot to use a stopwatch, so that's why I need to, maybe I'll do that this time. I ended up raising the airflow up a little bit more. Circuit fix, yeah. Oh, hey Tony, yeah, you recognize that sound? I know a lot of people. I've read that people have swapped out their fan because of that irritating. I just couldn't be bothered with it. I mean, it's just me listening to it. I'll get over it. But I know some people have changed out that fan because it is kind of an irritating. Are we getting up in the hundreds now? I'm gonna go up to 220 on this preheater. We're gonna let this get to about 130, I think. Yeah, circuit fix. We need more streamers. Yeah, I'm still thinking about getting a real. Oh, Roy got a preheater. Yeah, they make a difference. They make a difference on your South bridges and on your SSDs. They'll help you with all that stuff. Oh, you changed out the fan, Tony? Yeah, maybe I will one day. If you're using it a lot, I could say I don't use it a whole lot. Or maybe I just don't pay much attention to it. All right, I've got my hot air set. I'm going to wait for this to get to about 130. I got to decide at what point to nudge or not to nudge. I'm going to have to nudge. I'm going to have to see it bounce back. Let me see. Can I adjust this camera? I could adjust this camera to point at the APU if that would help you guys see. Although it doesn't have a, oh, what the heck, did it let go? It does not have a zoom to it. Oh, come on. This is a professional setup here. Yeah, that camera's gonna fall at some random moment. Well, I've never tried to do this, Tony. I've never tried to do this on a live stream, so I don't know. But I've had this. If you missed the beginning of the show, I've had this board with this AP removed, kicking around, laying on top of the bench for some time. probably a year. I think it was the first attempt I made at reballing, and it failed miserably. And I tried it several times. So eventually, when it failed the last time, which was probably a year ago or something, I I just pulled the APU back off and cleaned it and left it off and just put it all together off to the side. Because I was thinking at some point I'll figure out how to do this and then I'll attack it again. And I forgot about it actually until I ran across it laying up on the bench. And I got a few days off. I said, I'll try it again. And then I thought, well, should I live stream this? That sounds like a stupid idea. Let's do it. But I have done it successfully one other time. So that's a track record, I guess. All right, we are approaching 0 hour here, I think. Of course, these are leaded solder balls that I've reballed it with, so in theory should, melt at a little quicker temperature. And I think, according to my notes, I pulled it, I nudged it at like 161 reading here. Because I got to remember also, I'm measuring way over here off to the side where there's a hole in the board. So I'm not directly at the APU. I hadn't figured out a good way of doing that. I could set this probe right up next to the APU, but then again, if I just lay it up there, you've got 300-degree air blowing across it. So how accurate is that? I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's not an infrared heater. It's just a good old heating element, I suppose. Oh, I think it's about time. It's about time. Hello, Robzerix. Hello. Yes, and one thing you're going to see me do here, Tony, I used to, when I would heat these things, I would have this probably 2 inches above it, which I was trying to be, I thought I was being careful, but I think what I ended up doing was I ended up dumping a lot of heat on the surrounding board instead of on the APU where I needed it. And that's caused a lot of my bending. Now, I meant to wear a glove for this because I ended up holding this thing over this hot board for several minutes. And I used to have a glove just for that. Apparently I'm a glutton for punishment, and I'm going to go without the glove again because your hand will get hot. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. I'm at 300C. I'm at 70 airflow, 70 out of 120. And I'm going to try to get about 1 inch above this thing because I'm trying to get heat on the APU. This is my working theory. Not on the board around it, on the APU. And I don't want a lot of airflow pushing down on top of the APU. So this is all experimental. Don't try this at home. Or do. Well, you do you. Temperature is coming up slowly. I'd like to see it come up a little bit quicker than this. This nozzle is about the perfect size for this. It's the size of the APU. I forgot to set that stopwatch again. So I guess I'm working off temperature. I'm probably a little closer than 1 inch. I'm probably 3/4 of an inch, half inch, something. I don't know. I don't like how this looks right now. When do I nudge it? I'd like to see this come on up some. About 140 to 150 is when I nudged it before, looks like. Don't do that. All right. Because I'm not getting a direct reading. My probe is over here. This always makes me nervous. Very, very nervous. All right, it's not wanting to nudge. I think it has stuck. So I am going to add some flux. And try not to burn my hand while I do it. I'm going to see if I can get this to nudge for me. Yep, it nudged. It did. I think I'm going to stop right there. Turn off the preheater. It did nudge though. It bounced back nicely. I don't know. That happened about the same way it happened to me before though. I went to nudge it and it was stuck. It wouldn't move. So I added flux around the edges of it and then I could get it to nudge. Whew. All right, David. Thanks. Fixed. Andy, I don't know. We're a long ways from fixed. So you made a holder, Tony? I thought about it. I noticed, is it Northwest Repair? He's got a smaller version of this Puhi, whatever it is, preheater, and he's got a holder for a nozzle when he does GPU repairs. Oh, yeah, I've had a white light, no display that acted weird, and I have not fixed it yet. Have not fixed it yet. I'll check it with thermal paste. He cut his preheater in half? Really? So that's a half of one of these. I thought it was a version, a model that I had not seen. So he cut it in half, and he's just using one of the elements. There's two elements in there. That's a possibility, I suppose. I don't think I want to do that to this one. I might buy another one. Possibility. All right, first glance, looking at this thing, it doesn't look bad. In the past, when it went horribly wrong, I would see the APU touching the board like on this corner and on this corner. Not in the middle, but on each corner, because it had warped so bad. And I'm seeing a pretty even gap. I don't want to get too hopeful. I'm seeing a pretty even gap looking at it from the sides. I don't know, you probably can't see it. We'll look at it when it cools off enough. We'll look at it under the microscope. All right, I need to take this board off of this preheater though, which probably had enough heat for a while. And I'll set it on the bench here and let it just kind of cool off. I don't put fans on it or anything. I just like to let it slowly cool down on its own. And I could really use my that glove about now. I'll put this winding fan down here under the bench and let it cool off. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to show you an angle of it from the side, but it's a little toasty right now. Very toasty, actually. But yeah, if we get to that point, we'll check it with just regular thermal paste. I'll put some Arctic Silver 5 on there or something. Just something to test it with. Of course, the first test is we're going to have to look at this thing from the side, look at it every angle we can under the microscope. How's it look? Then we start checking power rails. Do we have any power rails shorted to ground? Right now, everything's going to read almost shorted because it's so hot. It's almost done. Yeah, Shack Angel, I'm nervous about nudging it. I'm very careful and I'm very lucky. I have pretty steady hands. But yeah, they are. The balls are close together. They are. It's risky. But, you know, not having, really all I've got to work off of is time and temperature. You know, we're using the tools that we have. She's toasty. Okay, let me see if I can get you a view from the side of it and see how bad it looks. I can't get close enough from the side, can I? I can't get close enough. From the end, maybe? Yeah, from the end we can. Ah, that corner looks awful close. I don't know. Look at the other side. I don't think I can see the other side. I don't think I can get close enough. I don't know. I don't think that's going to work. This corner looks way too close. Way too close. Yeah, I think we failed. This doesn't look too bad. This end doesn't, but that other corner. I can't get a good look at this corner. Yeah, I don't like the look of that corner. Don't like it. Not one bit. You think you saw a bridge? I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. It didn't look like that when I was heating it. That corner, yeah. This corner here looks way too low. Way too low. We're still pretty toasty. Let's see if we've got a short on our 1.35. on some other rail, any of the rails. What do we think? Let's see, I'm just checking. Yeah. What we got? Ooh. 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 That's a little short. That's a little short. That's not too bad. That's a little low. That's low. How about this right here? That looks fine, I think. It's hot. But that right there is not good. And I probably should have checked this thing to make sure it wasn't shorted already. Probably wasn't, though. Yeah, that's not good. So I think this is a fail. That's definitely a fail. But we tried. And I will probably try it again. Man, I had such high hopes. But that has happened to me in the past. Exactly what causes it: board warpage, too much airflow blowing down. I don't know. I don't know. Make a holder for it. I do have a small CNC mill. Yeah, if it's not dead yet, I'll have to take it back off. And I should have checked. I started to before I started streaming to make sure this APU wasn't already shorted. That's been bad. No, I'm not putting power on it. Not gonna do it. Yeah, that's a failure. I don't know, maybe. That's one of those things you have to play with. Do I lower the hot air? I was on 70 out of 120. I could lower that airflow to try to get a little bit more, maybe more even airflow, a little slower heating of the board. I don't know. Like I said, I did it this way before, actually, and it worked well for me. But not this time. Well, well, well. Well, we tried. Yeah. I'm here to tell you that it is not easy to do. With the tools that I have, it is not easy to do. But I'm not done. I'm probably gonna take this off, and I'll check that APU. The 1.35 I think comes in around the perimeter, which is why you end up seeing shorts there. When the balls merge onto there, you'll see a short on that 1.35 because that's where it's fed in. At least I think that's a short. Let's see. What about? I don't think I've got a short over here. I do have a missing RAM chip, but I don't think I've got any shorted pads under here. Wouldn't be that lucky. No, it looks pretty clean. That would have been something though, if my 1.35 volt short was over here. But no, I'm afraid not. None of those pads look shorted. Oh well. Well, I've learned what not to do, maybe. Take it back off. But what do I do differently? Yeah, that corner is what got me. The rest of them don't look too bad. But that corner is bad low. So I wonder, is it the airflow pushing it down? When the balls are molten, the airflow is pushing. That's why I backed way off on the airflow to roughly half of the volume it could move, the hot air section could move. Oh, Russ is streaming? Oh, okay. Yeah, Shack Angel. I need to check it. I need to take it off and see what the 1.3. I need to take it off and see where all the rails go, and just make sure it's not dead before I try to put it on again. So, is Russ going? Let me check. Russ is. Should we raid Russ? Should we raid Rusty Russ? Maybe he's having more success than I am. If I can figure out how to do it. I've done this before, but I've slept since then, as we say. Raid, yes, we're going to raid Russ. He's showing off his farm animals? Okay, well that's fine. As soon as I figure out how to... Oh, under settings. I'll remember here in a second. No. It's not what I want. I gotta find it. I have to find the option. Where is it? I've only done this once. Channel level settings. No. It's not easy to find. It's like they intentionally hide it. Under customization. How do you get to customization? I guess I'll go back to your channel. I'm looking for it. Studio. Customization. No, it's not it. That's general customization is what I found, not the one that I need the customization of this live stream. Where is it? Hey, Sarah. My daughter's in the chat. As soon as I can find this stupid... I know it's in customization, but I don't see customization in the streaming window. Yeah, I was at about 200, 210 on the board, I think. Select your current stream live. Okay, let me try this. Let's go to lives. Can I go to this? No, I'm looking at my own live stream. Let's don't do that. Let's go to content. Is this it? Is this it? Options. Oh, this is ridiculous. I can't find it. I give up. You win, YouTube. You win. Yeah, I know it's in there, but I can't find it. No, 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 no. All right, I'm out. Stream settings? Wait, is that it? No, that's not it, is it? No, 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 no. I'll find it next time. I think I said that last time. Well, have a good day, everybody. I'm going to get some lunch, maybe. Let's see if I can fix something. It has not been the best day for repairing things. But anyway, we have to try. If we don't try, we can't ever do it. See you later, guys. Thanks for coming by.